Board of Health to order. Are there any items we need to add or remove from the agenda?
I have a very brief update on tobacco. We have listed it as no update.
Okay.
Again, it's just informative, there's no action to be taken, so. I have a update on food code,
Okay.
and I have a update on emergency planning.
Okay. Under new business, I just want to mention opening. It's under, not really a food establishment, but I'll mention an opening. That's cryptic enough for you?
That's pretty cryptic.
Okay.
On the new business,
Under new business, opening.
at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,
So,
where would you like to slip that in?
under, you can put it under new establishments under inspections, but it's not really going to be, just somewhere in there.
Okay.
If that's fine, it'll be real quick. Okay. Next we have approval of the bill schedule, and we have all the bills for the VNA from.
For the rest
November.
of the fiscal year.
Oh, we paid December, January, and February, but we didn't have November, March,
Right,
April, May, and June. So
they're all done.
once you check that, you can give me.
Don't sign that yet.
And we just have to.
Can I sign it? Right
No.
there. Okay.
We have to vote on this one. I need a motion to accept the bill schedule, and then we can vote on that.
I'll make that motion.
Second the motion. All those in favor?
I
Okay, we can sign that one.
can't sign it, right?
This one. You can sign this one. Not that one.
You can't sign that one?
No.
All right.
What is that one?
Why?
This is her appointment.
Appointment.
She has to sign it
Oh, it has
in
to sign it in
front of.
front of the
Front of.
Oh, it'll
Clerk.
work.
Yeah. Okay, and I'll sign that.
Sorry, Marion.
Okay.
Okay, bill schedule done. Next we have approval of minutes. Marion, did you have any question or concerns on the minutes that were sent to us?
I have none.
There was no omissions. I had nothing to add. So I just need a motion to accept.
I make the motion to accept.
I second the motion. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right. That was for the meeting. Sorry, I didn't say it. The meeting was 6/3/2013.
Great. On approval of minutes, not for this meeting, but remember we had discussed a meeting that you and Alice attended. Marion
Yes.
wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And now that Alice is gone,
Mm-hmm.
you're the only one who can attest to the minutes.
Yes.
And we had discussed that you would approve the minutes as an unofficial approval.
Yep.
I was looking back in my records, I never brought those back to you.
Okay.
So that was actually December 10th of 2012.
Okay.
So what I will do is I'll have those I have those, but I'll include those in your packet
Okay.
at our next meeting, and we'll add it to the
That's
approval.
fine. Not a problem. Okay. So we have 7 minutes until our hearing. So if you want to hit some of this old business and run through it.
As you know, we got a mini grant to build up our shops program, $500. Last Board of Selectmen's meeting, that mini grant was accepted by the town. Today, Paula put the purchase order in and actually made the purchase of the 1-quart shops containers. We went looking for the 2 quarts that I had mentioned, we couldn't find them. So we went with 1-quart shop containers, a case of them for $196. We will use the rest of that money, the remainder of that money. What we'll do is, once we sell about 75 containers, we'll buy more. So we'll take 1/4, probably about $50, and just put it in the revolving account, so that when we get to 75, we'll have enough to buy the 100 again. The rest of the money will be used to advertise the new containers. We'll put a sticker or a magnet on the box at the kiosk, and then I'm open to suggestions, but my first thought is to get some flyers and maybe, put the availability of the containers, trifold type things, maybe put some reasons for doing shops, and have these things available at the counter at CVS.
Okay.
And that way when people ask them if they can get boxes, I'll also have them, hold a couple of boxes for us, just so that they can show people that we'll have.
Okay.
Right, so that hopefully will eat up that $500. I'm gonna take a glance in that machine one more time, in that box one more time. Basically, I know that we have zero compliance with this law right now.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is I will ask CVS when they call the disposal company to also call me, so I can get down there and watch and see if we get better compliance with the.
Oh, as with the boxes.
Right, and
Okay.
that way when at the end of this grant cycle, I can report back to the Department of Public Health that we went from essentially zero compliance to, even if it's 10 or 12% compliance.
It's a bit, yeah.
It's progress.
Okay.
So SHOPS program is launched.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
So
All right, Mima.
MEMA was the old grant. I already explained that we had closed that out.
Okay.
That was a carryover from the last.
We have no update on tobacco.
We had no update. I just want to make the announcement that the two places that sold, we issued tickets. As of the last meeting, one ticket was sold, paid. As of now, both tickets are paid. I spoke to the Worcester Regional Tobacco Collaborative, and they will be scheduling the follow-up within the next few weeks. So those two places will be inspected again. Now we're into the new fiscal year.
Mm-hmm.
So they will also be scheduling sometime between now and next July, hopefully sooner rather than later, the one
Series.
that they're going to follow up.
Okay.
And then I believe we as a board, or the members of the board, should discuss how many more we want to pay for,
Okay.
how many full youth access checks we want to do in a year.
Okay.
Recommend 4, but I got to balance that against our budget.
Okay. Flu clinic.
No update
No
on.
update. Goals and objective. You said you have an update now.
I do have an update on the food code. I included it in your packet, but I didn't put it as an update on the agenda because it came late on Friday.
Oh, I saw the revised.
We got the recommendations from
Mr. Hennigan.
Attorney Hennigan. I went through and I made 2 large red. In the definition section, we actually have to come up with a definition of potentially hazardous foods.
Isn't there one in the food code already?
Um,
Don't they have PHF?
I
food
will
code?
look at it and maybe import that one, but I don't think it's real clear.
Okay.
So we might want to take a look at that.
Yep.
And that was
What you have to do is see if the one that isn't adopted yet, the 2009, has a better definition. So that way,
Yeah.
because if that one, if you can get a copy, or look at the 2009 that hasn't been adopted yet, and maybe they have a better definition, and that way we can use that one. So that way it jives when the 2009 is finally adopted in 2027. Well, we'll be ahead of the game.
okay. And then
Your application with appropriate application fee must be submitted to the Office of Board of Health following
Yeah.
review and approval.
he said that he was confused by that. So
Okay. All it says is apply appropriately and pay your bill. We just can't write it like that.
yeah. So I will look at these sections. I'm sorry, there's a third section. Any establishment offering any food service that includes potentially hazardous foods shall have an allergen awareness certificate, certified person who has been trained and holds current proof of training on site during all times that any food is being prepared, served, or otherwise made available to the public.
Yep.
I will take a shot at rewording these. I'll work with Ray because he's familiar with the food end of this. So I'll talk through Ray on those 2 issues, and then hopefully between us we can present.
That's kind
I'll
of
also work
isn't
with
that what
Darlene.
we already do with the ServSafe? That we want somebody on shift all times who's ServSafe certified. So now we're just saying we want the same thing with allergen. That's what we do with ServSafe already.
Yep.
Okay, so we're doing the same thing with the allergen that we already do with ServSafe.
Yes.
Or,
And
I
will-
shouldn't say ServSafe. Anybody who is food service
certified.
certified.
And maybe I will take, because A talks about the food certified person.
Yep.
So maybe I will try to mirror the language a little better.
Yeah.
Um,
I think,
And
and nothing
satisfy
against Mr. Hennigan, but I think food people would understand it more because they're into it and
Right,
they
and-
understand what we're talking about.
And it's a recommendation.
Yeah.
It's his
Yeah, oh no, I understand that.
recommendations
but I
aren't
think
set in stone.
it's confusing to him, but I think people who are in the field actually understand it.
Okay. So because this came in late on Friday, I whipped out what I could just to get it into your hands. But I think next meeting, we should be prepared to address his concerns, whether we change
Finalize.
them or not, and then set a date to have the hearings on this thing
Okay,
and get them adopted.
sounds good.
I had originally said that we might want to adopt new fees at the same time, but I think that might be a burden. We might want to push that off. If we can do these in July or early August, maybe look to do the fees by September, October, in time for the new. Because the fees are really just decide what they're going to be, and it's not like you got to come up with wording.
Yep.
We just have to adjust the fees, decide what they're going to be, have a hearing on it, and adopt them, so we can have them adopted for the new licenses next year,
Okay.
new permits next year.
How long is it gonna take you to do prescription take back so we can finish B?
We're at 5:45 now, if you want.
I know, I just figured to stop at a good
Okay.
spot would be right there. How quick is?
Pretty quick prescription take back. I gave you a copy of this.
Yep.
This is the waiver that allows us to dispose of prescription medication. Is a regulated material. If we are not going to dispose of it according to the I forget which section, it's one of the CMRs that defines how to get rid of medical waste and how to get rid of prescription medications and all that, then we had to get a waiver.
Yep.
We have the waiver from DEP. I sent a copy of the waiver to Mr. Rudge from Wheeler Brader, and all I have to do now, I spoke to him, he said that the wheel doesn't really enter into MOUs about this stuff.
Okay.
They just offer the service to their membership, their contracted towns.
Okay.
So Auburn is contracted with them for 15 years, I believe, 15 more years. So they will take it as long as we call ahead, tell them we'd like to bring it up, get an appointment, and a police officer has to bring it.
And I know the police department wanted somebody to go with them.
Yep.
That's fine too.
So I am ready tomorrow or later this week. I will issue an email to the gentleman at Wheeler Brader, basically just putting it down in writing what we've agreed to.
Yep.
I'll CC the police partners on this, and by the end of this week, we could be ordering a drop box for our prescription take back.
Excellent.
Then I think, again, as a board, we should sit down and I keep saying we, I'm not part of the board, but we as a group
No, you
should
have to
sit
be here
down.
when we sit down.
Should
Anyway,
sit
so.
down and decide how we want to launch this. I'll talk to town manager and
Okay.
see how she perceives, how big a show this should be.
Excellent. And emergency planning, there were no updates.
Just that we have an opportunity to get a satellite phone.
Okay.
Um,
Through the coalition.
Through the coalition, this satellite phone will operate when all other phone lines are down,
Yep.
and it also has a internet hotspot.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we can run our computers
Okay.
and get information on the internet as long as we have power.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask the board if they were interested in getting one. It was offered. The burden is that we have to test the thing every month.
Mm-hmm.
It's fully covered. The cost of it is fully covered by the coalition.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a financial burden on the town.
No, I don't think. I mean, with everything else we've been doing for emergency management, the trailer, the generators, everything else, I think it's just a step in the right direction. The radio station, all that.
Okay, I
I
talked
don't
to.
see I think it's a good idea.
Absolutely.
I did talk to the
I
fire
agree.
chief, and he said the only thing that stopped us from getting, as a town, from getting it
Was the
has
money.
been the maintenance, the cost of maintaining that. I guess it's like thousands of dollars to run the contracts.
Okay.
So
And
essentially, we will have this thing until the grant money runs
it's
out,
out.
and then it will be up to the town whether they want to support the
Okay.
phone.
Excellent.
But that grant money we know is approved for at least another year, so.
Sounds good. All right, that's the end of old business. A great pace to stop and step into our first hearing. It is now 5:48 p.m. and we have 25 Tinker Hill Road local upgrade approval. And sir, are you here for that one?
I am.
And if you don't mind introducing yourself to the board.
Oh, you have a plan. That's excellent.
All right.
Good evening. Carl Holtzgren, Quinn Engineering.
Carl whom?
Holtzgren?
Holtzgren.
Holtzgren.
Holtzgren. I
Correct.
know that name.
Are you Shelley's brother?
I am.
Oh no.
Small world, right?
I know Carl Holtzgren from the Keith
Really?
Worcester Justice Club.
Oh,
Okay,
probably
so
related.
we are here for a local upgrade. First off, I have to open the hearing, which I have just done. And now, if you want to,
Go through it.
Actually, can I just introduce one fact that I'm sorry, I will start with an apology to the board. I wrote that I gave you one page of the local upgrade request. The applicant is seeking 2 requests.
okay,
One of them is a relief from the requirement of the local requirement for design has to be number of bedrooms plus 1.
okay,
So this is a 3-bedroom house, he is looking for a 3-bedroom design. Normally, the town of Auburn would require a 4-bedroom design on a 3-bedroom house. The second is a relief from the separation of the system to the high groundwater. That's the one I didn't tell you. There's a requirement by Title V that there be it's a 9-minute perk, there's a requirement that there be a 4-foot separation between high groundwater and the bottom of a septic system.
mm-hmm.
This particular design allows for a reduction of 2 feet with Board of Health and DEP approval.
Okay.
So with that, I will turn it over to Mr. Hultgren.
Okay.
So the property is at 25 Tinker Hill Road. The lot has about 10,000 square feet of area. Existing house is a 3-bedroom house. The existing system is in failure. And if I can step up to the
Yeah.
TV
Go right ahead.
quickly. So here's Tinker Hill Road. Here's our house. The lot comes up like this. It's not much larger than that. The top lot line is about right there. On the southern side of the lot, you can see these gray lines. Those represent the contour lines. So it's sloping downhill in this direction, and it's actually a pretty good sized hill. 16 feet from here to here, elevation-wise difference.
Mm-hmm.
So what we've done is try to locate the new system in the front and side yard of the lot. The driveway comes in right here, and the old well is in the back of the house right there. It's actually connected to the town water now. That happened
Okay.
a couple years ago.
But the well still exists?
It still exists. It's not. I believe it's disconnected though. So we did test pits back in February of this year. We found seasonal high groundwater table of 51 inches. We had a perk rate of 9 minutes per inch. And we're requesting the 2-foot offset to groundwater using a GeoFlow system. The DP approval for GeoFlow, for remedial use of GeoFlow systems, allows for that 2-foot separation. And what it does is, if we had to meet the 4-foot separation, our system would obviously be 2 feet higher than what we've got proposed here. As it is right now, we're basically at the grade where it will blend in with the house. If we have to raise it up 2 more feet, the finished grade over the system will actually be higher than the sill of the house, and we'd be shedding water back towards the house, which is what we don't want to do. So that's why we're requesting that. And then in addition, on the low side of the system, we're already proposing an impervious barrier. If the system were 2 feet higher, we'd end up with a wall going down towards the street, and just again more elevation to deal with.
Okay.
So like I said, the DP allows for that separation with a remedial use of the GeoFlow system. When the high groundwater table is witnessed or approved by an agent or the board, and as long as you're not proposing setbacks to other wells or wetlands or anything like that. There is a wetland across the street. We meet that required separation. The Conservation Commission issued a negative determination. We actually, Glenn Kravosky met with them. I can tell you when it was. Actually, I can't tell you when it was, but I can tell you they issued a negative determination. And then with the 3-bedroom plus 1 relief that's sought, the system right now is pretty much maxed out as big as we can make it. If we had to make it for another bedroom, it would just, I'm not even sure we could fit it, to be honest with you.
Okay.
It gets a lot uglier after that.
All right. Because you're only on 10,000 square feet, which is approximately half an acre.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Andy, it's your turn.
If I can ask a question or two.
Sure.
The size, total square footage of this system.
414 square feet. That's the sand area provided for the GeoFlow system.
And how big would it have to be a 440 system?
I don't have the GeoFlow system with me, but I would assume you increase it by 25%, so another 100 square feet probably.
That, on the display,
Yep.
you have 3 tracks running parallel to the tank.
Here?
Yep.
Yep.
How much space do you have essentially between there? How much wider would it require to make this a 440 system?
Oh, I can tell you that. These are about, roughly speaking, 30 feet right there in length. So if you want to make it 100 more feet, 100 square feet more, you need another 3 feet on both sides, at least. That's just the sand area, though. You've also got to do the pipe length, because it's a Presby system, so, or a GeoFlow system, excuse me. So it goes by you have to provide the sand area. You also have to provide the length of pipe within that area.
Yep.
So we've got,
But the area is still calculated on the bottom of basically the bed size.
yeah, you do 2 checks. It's the size of the sand for the quote-unquote leaching area, but then also you have to propose the right amount of pipe length for that sand area. So we've got, let's see. $190 feet worth of pipe. Increase that by 25%, so another 50 feet.
50 feet of pipe.
250
So two
total.
So 2 more lines of pipe.
About that, yeah.
And that would widen
That would widen
the
that
bed by
area,
6 feet.
and as it is right now, because we're building it into the hill,
Yep.
this is where the grades start taking off. So if you push it any further this way,
Yeah, no,
you start encroaching into that groundwater.
I recognize that
elevation
hardship. This is a ridiculous site. This site is, you can see they split the field into 2 parts
Yeah.
because you just couldn't build this.
It's actually a pretty creative design. With the GeoFlow allows you to have basically 2 separate fields. The water goes in one end of the pipe and then travels serially through all the pipes until it gets to the end. So that's the benefit of that type of system.
When I kind of got nervous when we started asking for a reduction in square footage and a reduction to the water table. I do think 2 feet is adequate. I know there's some states that believe Florida designs on 1 foot or less, so, and they're pure sand. We're dealing with sandy loams here, right?
Any clay or just?
No, it's sandy loams, loamy sand
Loamy
actually,
sand,
which is
yeah.
going to give some resistance.
Yep.
So I'm not overly nervous about the 2-foot setback, but when you combine it with a reduction in square footage, now we're concentrating all of that water into less area. Auburn, there's towns around us that have a lot of failures because of some of these innovative design. In my opinion, because some of these innovative designs allow for reduction, and Auburn requires that extra bedroom design. So even when the innovative design allows for the reduction, we still pick up a little extra. The criteria for local upgrade approvals outlines how we should give them, and setbacks to property lines, which in this case I think is not feasible because of that hill. It's a ridiculous, it's ledgy too if I remember right. But there's nothing that says we can't bring the tank into the house a little bit and get a couple more lines between the house and the field. The law or the regulation says 20 feet to a septic field. We've got 23, and I wouldn't be nervous about taking that down to 15, rather than give the reduction to both the groundwater and the. So, is there any logic why that shouldn't happen?
What we try to do is minimize the number of LUAs that we request. So if we were to reduce that separation,
Yep.
that'd be just one more on the list of things we're asking for relief from.
It would be trading one.
But if you guys want to grant it, I think we can do that.
It would be trading one, and the regulations say we should consider setbacks
Yep.
before we consider reduction.
Reduction, yeah.
Keeping in mind that the reduction the reduction he's asking for is ours, it's not DEP's.
Yes.
So what he's asking for is just to bring it down to Title V requirements.
Mhm.
So he can meet all of the setbacks and Title V requirements. What he can't meet is Auburn's requirement.
Okay.
So,
So if it
however you
went to
want to weigh
so
that.
if it went to DEP, it would pass DEP. It's just Auburn's different. Auburn's tighter. Auburn's
Yes.
okay. All right.
Does it
Any
create
any
a
more?
hardship?
Oh, okay.
Does it create a hardship to do that?
I don't think so. I'd have to go through it and just make sure we get enough room. But as long as it looks like there's enough room. And then the only other thing I'd say is that if we're reducing that separation to the building foundation, we'd probably put in like a barrier or something like that on that side where we have less than 20 feet.
Yeah, I'd like to see
but
a barrier.
That's about it. Yeah,
Any more evidence information?
that's it.
Okay, so I got to close the evidentiary part of the hearing. I need a motion for that.
I make that motion.
Second the motion. All right. So, sorry. How do you vote?
Aye.
Aye. 2-0 to close the evidentiary part. Now it's discussion. Marion, any questions for
Not really.
anybody?
I
All right.
get the part of it, not all of
Okay.
it. He's an engineer.
Yep.
I'm a nurse.
So we're looking at, you can see we're 23 feet away from the building to the start of the system. Now the septic tank, how far away is that from the, is that inside the 23?
That is 10.5 feet.
And the regulation allows for 10 feet to a foundation from a tank.
Now moving those pipes closer, from that 23 feet, is that going to affect the location of the septic tank?
I think the tank can stay the same.
This tank can stay the same, and it's not going to affect it. It's not going to be too close. It's not.
No, I don't know if you guys, some towns do it, but around a septic system you have 5 feet that gets excavated and you replace it with Title V sand.
Yep.
In this case, that sand would start encroaching into the tank location, which is, there's nothing wrong with doing that. Some towns don't like it, but
Okay.
DP doesn't say anything against doing it.
Okay. So that'll bring us 23 there. Definitely can't go towards the hill.
Can't go towards the street.
Can't go towards the
We're
street.
already-
You were already on the
Already
street.
using a barrier, we already,
Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right, so let's take these one at a time. The first, we're looking for, what's the, okay, what we're looking, what are the two we're looking for, Andy? We're looking for the smaller system instead of the 4-bedroom, because we do 3+1.
yep, looking
And-
for and that's a local law
That's a local.
variance from 4-bedroom to 3.
Okay, and the other one is the,
Separation to the groundwater,
which is 2
Code.
feet now, which code says 4.
code says 4, he's looking to get 2.
2.
And code, or the approval of this product specifically allows for that reduction
Mhm.
if the Board of Health votes for it and DEP votes for it.
Okay.
So the reduction.
So even
is
if we vote for the reduction, if DEP says no, then it's gonna go back to the drawing board?
My understanding of DEP
They-
is they
they-
won't say no.
they won't say no.
If the board, if the local board says yes, they assume the local board knows conditions better than they do in our own town.
Okay.
So if we say yes, I'll go 90% sure that DEP will say yes.
I'm just looking, there's no other
If I can add
place.
one more thing to that.
Yeah.
DEP wrote the upgrade approval letter.
Okay.
So they said you can go 2 feet if you want
Okay.
with the local board of health approval. So I'm
Okay.
assuming that they would say yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just taking a look at this. There's no other place to put this
No,
thing.
it's tight.
So
And we even tried the backyard. You can't get a machine in the backyard because
the hill
of the
goes like
ledge.
this, and
Yeah,
the
because of the
ledge.
ledge that's sitting over here,
Yeah.
you can't get a machine between the house and the backyard.
Okay. All right. So let's take these one at a time. The first one, Marion, if I could have a motion on whether to accept the reduction from 4-foot groundwater to 2-foot.
I make that motion.
Well, yeah, and do you want to make it that we can accept it?
Yes.
Okay. So I will second the motion to accept the proposal of reduction of 4 foot to 2 foot. You understand what I'm saying?
The motion is to approve the request
The
to
request for
reduce the
reduce.
separation to 2 feet.
Separation of 2 feet. I was trying to get that word out. So if there's no more discussion, Marion, how do you vote on that?
I vote yes, go forward.
I vote yes. So it's a 2-0 vote to approve the reduction from 4 feet to 2 feet of the separation. Second part is, read it to me again, please.
The
The
second part is a request
3
to request for a variance from the Town of Auburn regulations requiring the design to equal the number of bedrooms plus 1. So he's looking to reduce the design to Title V requirements.
Okay. One quick question. What's the square footage of the house?
That I don't know.
Okay. It's a 3-bedroom. Is there a possibility of an additional bedroom in the house?
That I don't know either. I'm gonna say no,
All right.
just on a guess.
I'm just looking at
Yes,
the
I mean-
property. They could drop a thing in the back.
I don't know if they could with,
Because it's an
square
abandoned,
footage,
it's abandoned
but
well.
it's got a
They have offset to all.
8-foot ceilings in the basement,
Yeah, and
9-foot ceiling. They could definitely get one in the basement.
Okay.
It's a very simple square ranch, so raising the roof would not be, it's
Yeah.
possible that it could happen. I
it
mean,
could
Okay.
happen. And
Okay.
if they did that, they'd have to get a building permit, and
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
trigger this process all over again, I think.
Mm.
Mhm.
Some-
Right, anything that requires a building permit requires a Title V inspection.
Okay. All right. So if they want to do it, they'd have to come forward. I'm just looking at one shot and done. If they added another bedroom and they were already at the 3+1,
That was the logic behind adopting that law,
yeah,
was that you don't have to dig into a perfectly good system.
So
To add a bedroom on.
the way I look at it is I'm looking to, everybody grows. Families grow. People, they sell this house. The next person comes in, has 3 kids, and they want 4 bedrooms. They can put an addition on the back or in the basement and add another bedroom.
Yep.
So then they got to come in and start a whole new system. If the system is already 3+1, where the town requires, now they come in front of us, instead of saying 4+1, we could okay it as a 4.
Yep.
It's
makes
already
sense.
there, and it's not. You're already putting the new system in, and I see the cutting it back a few feet, getting closer to the house. I don't see as an issue. You said it looked you could come as close as 15 feet and not be an issue there. Because
And I don't have the law in front of me, but the locals can vary setbacks
yeah,
ridiculously.
yeah, and you had said that 15 wouldn't be a problem. So, at extra 3 feet on the inside, bringing it down to, even if it brought it down to 18, just for the extra area. That's my personal opinion. I'm not I don't build septic systems. That being said, Marion, do you have a motion on this? Andy, can you read what the question was on that?
The, no, I can't read it, but
Can you
The-
tell?
I'm making that motion, though,
the,
that we
the-
accept.
the motion would be to either accept the size reduction or to not accept the size reduction.
So we are accepting the size.
If the motion is to accept, then there'll be a vote that way.
All right?
So which way would you like to make the motion, to accept or to deny?
To accept.
I will second the motion for discussion. We can vote on it. It's so your motion is to accept the reduction from a 3+1 to a 3 system. And
Correct.
okay, how do you vote?
Vote yes.
I vote no on that.
Okay.
So at this point, I'm not sure if we have to bring Stephen at the next meeting. I
Do
mean,
not, if Mr. Holcomb wishes to pursue a different vote. By a tie of the board, the motion does not carry.
the motion doesn't carry. It goes
So
back to our
as of
local
right now,
ranks.
we are looking at the 4-bedroom design.
Yep.
If Mr. Holcomb wants to appeal that, he can come back to this board when there's a full board,
Yeah, and then we have.
or
there
he
won't be
can
a
go
tie.
to the courts.
Okay.
But if you can come up with a design for the 4-bedroom,
Yep.
I could approve it based on it meets our code and you already have the variance for the other half.
Okay, and it sounds like if we need a local upgrade for a separation distance to a foundation, the board would be in favor of that?
Yeah, I mean, that would be a vote, because I'm in favor of that already, just because I'd like the system to be bigger.
Yep.
So right now, that would have to, because it is a reduction in the thing, that would have to be a vote at
It
that
would have to
time.
come back to the board.
So that would have to come back once the
Because
plans.
that's not in front of the board
That's not
right
in
now.
front of the board right now.
Right.
If we would have both voted no, then we could have had a vote on the variance on the thing, but since we had there's no tiebreaker
Okay.
on that. So
see.
sorry about
No,
that,
that's
but
fine,
I
that's
just,
fine.
I feel more comfortable with the other design.
Yeah, okay, very good.
If it can be done, if you can't,
We'll come
then
back.
I would recommend bringing it back for the same request.
Yeah. And then
we will.
Based on the fact that it cannot happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll look into it, see what happens.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you guys.
Thank
Rob.
you.
At this point, I need a motion to close the hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Second motion, it needs a vote. Marion, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Ray votes yes. Okay. We are at time for, we have another hearing. We have a request to address the board, septic system at 411 Leicester Street. The Whiting family? Is there someone here for that? If you want to have a seat,
Come on up.
introduce yourself to the board, please.
I'm just here for moral support.
That's all right.
No, that's fine. Have a seat. Join us.
Yeah.
If you could just, when you have a chance, introduce yourself to Paula. Paula has to write down the notes.
Paul, I'm Willis Robert Whiting II.
Okay.
Ellen Whiting.
Jennifer. Okay.
I'm Ray Gauthier. I'm the chairman of the board, and this is Marion Howard. She's the vice chair of the board. And if you haven't met her, Ray,
Hello,
this
how
is
are you?
Andy Pelletier,
I think we met briefly.
our director, and Paula is our secretary for the evening, taking all our notes. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to open the hearing, and if you could give us a brief explanation of why you're looking for what you're looking for.
My mother passed away recently, a few months ago, and she had her problems with the septic system. She did get it pumped out once a year, and I'd say maybe a year ago, she started discovering that the leach field there was water coming up in the leach field. We've been trying to do everything that we can do to try to save the house. Trying to pay everything, and me and my sister, we also tried to get a loan to fix the leach field. But with the way the leach field is, the way she had the loan for the original septic system, she didn't have to pay anything for the septic system for the loan that Marshall Provost put in until she either passed away or sold the house. So altogether, the estimates that we've gotten, it would cost us, what was it, Jenny? The $90,000 for the actual mortgage that's still left on the house, and I think it was 17,000
17 for the leach field to be redone, and then 24
to pay off
to pay.
the first septic system. And my request is, we've heard that they could condemn the house because of the leach field. And we understand that we have gotten a new home, a new apartment to live at, but we're in the processing of moving, and it's just horrible trying to take a house that we lived in for, well, I'm 32 years that I've actually grown up in, and my sister, to actually move out and try to figure out what we can take and what we can't take. So basically what I'm requesting and asking for is, I understand he gave us till June 1st, and he also gave us till July 1st. I was just asking if we could possibly have maybe a couple more weeks, or maybe till August. And that's, I don't know if Jen, you want to add something into that?
When the Title V was done, I was at the state with my mom, and they did say that they believed that there were two things that could have caused it. That the only two things that could have caused it was if Marshall Provost had put it in originally, they had put in bad sand, which they explained will be very, very, very difficult to prove. Or the other option was they thought that maybe they had driven over the chambers and they realized after they did the inspection that they had not driven over the chambers. They had explained to my mom that it was not anything that we had done, that it was most likely due to the sand, but they, like I said, they said that it was very, very difficult to prove that it is the sand when that does occur, and unfortunately we did not have the money to be able to do what we would have to do to prove, you know, to have it be proven that it was the sand.
Okay. Andy, do you have any information on this?
As Mr. Whiting indicated, this started just about a year ago.
Okay.
We went through a lengthy process. Miss Whiting, the parent, was working well with the board. We were, everything was going according to the plan, according to what we had agreed with her. At the December 10th meeting here at the Board of Health, Alice Ray, member retired, made a motion to grant a 6-month extension with regular pumping every 3 months and unlimited access to the property by the Board of Health agents. I have the pumping records, so they have kept up the pumping every 3 months. This June date was not necessarily a drop dead date, it was a progress date.
Okay.
I know we discussed it, and there was a huge part of the discussion, and I believe you were here, Ray. A huge part of the discussion was, we don't want this, Boards of Health can allow up to 2 years to make the repairs,
Yeah.
but we don't want this to go 2 years without an update of progress.
Mhm.
I was out there 2 weeks ago. It was very spongy over the septic field. It's spongy, wet,
Mhm.
odoriferous, if you will. So, system is still in failure, obviously. The pumping is almost keeping up with it.
Okay.
So, I don't want to throw the Whitings out of their home,
Mhm.
but with 6 months gone of a 2-year schedule, I think the board has to identify what they want to see as progress over the next 6 to 8 months
Mhm.
if they want to allow continued occupancy of the house.
Is somebody living there now?
We have been recently living there. Like I did say, we did, because I understand the situation, and we did save the money to get another apartment. My sister is still living there as of now, but we are working on moving, and
Okay. All right. Any other evidence to be?
Is this town meeting?
No, I'm sorry, Selectmen's meeting
Yeah.
is in the large room.
Any other evidence, Andy, that you have?
Note the, if indeed the property is becoming vacant, then
Okay.
it can go in that direction. I would
Willis?
But I'm
recommend,
still reciting
Yep.
the residents.
I would recommend continued pumping
Yep.
if the board is inclined to give more time.
Okay. So, any more information from Jennifer or Willis? You said what you need to say. Anything else?
pretty much.
All right. At this point, I need to close the evidentiary part of the hearing. Marion,
Make it,
you make that motion.
I do.
I'll second that motion, and it has to be a vote. Marion, how do you vote?
yes.
I vote yes. All right. So evidentiary is done. Now it's discussion with the board members. So we understand. I was here. I remember we gave that 6-month deal, which is fine. And you were getting it pumped out, so you were following all the recommendations that we gave. So that's awesome. It's great. I'm happy that, and I understand with the leach field. Very wet winter, very rainy spring. So we had a lot of water, which could attribute to some of the sponginess over the leach field, but we do know that the system was in failure before, so some of that is going to be from there. I am not adverse to possible a 2-month kind of another extension on you know, as long as you're doing the pumping, you're doing everything we asked. I understand money is tough everywhere, and I get that, and I'm not looking for a full compliant system by next week. That's but I am not adverse to the fact of maybe a 2-month extension, drying of the summer. Andy's gonna, as long as Andy still has, if he goes in and finds it pouring into the street, then we have another issue. But if we can keep it in flux with the continued pumping, I'm not adverse to giving you a 2-month extension. That would have to be voted on by myself and Marion. Anything in the code that we would be stepping on?
We would not. The code allows for up to 2 years
Mhm.
that the board can allow. And our agreement with Ms. Whiting previously was every 6 months, and I would point out that if this goes beyond the end of June, there was a pumping due in June that hasn't been done yet. So I would recommend that we at least keep the schedule, get the
Yeah.
June pumping, if the board is inclined to give more time on this.
Now, on the original timing, what was we gave 6 months for what? I know you have
I
the
can
notes
tell
there.
you, I have the minutes here.
Yeah.
I can tell you what the minute says, and I can also tell you what I recollect from the
Okay.
conversation. The minutes say that we would give them a 6-month extension
And what's the extension on? Was it on fixing
on
it?
fixing the system.
Okay.
But the conversation was, we don't want this to go for the full 2 years
Exactly.
without updates. So essentially, we'll give them a 6-month extension. They would have to come in, tell us what's going on,
Yep.
and then we will discuss further extensions if they're logical.
And we're still within the 6 months. You came in to
Yep.
see us, so you're following your mom's plan, which is good. Actually, what's this? June 20.
Today is June 24.
Okay. I'm looking at September 1. That gives a little over 2 months. That would be 2 months and a week or whatever. That way, it's. I hate to give a date that's like, because we gave till the end of June, I
Yep.
believe, when they did that. If I give a date from 2 months from today, it's going to end up August 24th. So my goal would be to give till September 1st. It gives you time to, if you're going to move, then move. If you're going to fix it, then you can start some work on it and show Andy, because it's tough to fix it in the winter when you have all that extra snow on top and everything like that. Maybe as it dries, it might be easier to do some work around it and get some stuff done. As long as you keep in touch with Andy and let him know what's going on. I don't. Now the other problem, hot summer, the smell. You know, you could run into a problem with that too. So I don't know if the tank can be treated, or the leach field can be treated, or anything like that.
It would probably have to be pumped as often as required to keep the smells in
smell
control, and possibly application of powder lime.
All right. So would that be an issue if that had to
If
happen?
it becomes a nuisance and somebody makes a complaint on it, we will have to respond to the complaint.
Okay.
Can I just interject something?
Sure.
If they're staying mostly in their apartment, it wouldn't basically be adding to it.
No, that's what I'm
From
saying.
the-
It seems like it won't be in use as much, so there won't be. You may not need to pump it every 2 months. If no one's living there, it's just going to be keeping the smell down, keeping it so it's dry, and that the system isn't running.
Point of order: if we get the June pumping, the schedule we have them on. If you're
It would
looking
put
to
them
extend
into-
it to September,
Yeah, exactly.
they won't have to pump it again after the June pumping.
Unless water is
Unless
used and
it
somebody
becomes-
it becomes an
Right.
issue with neighbors.
Okay.
So if
Or
we
it
can
flows
get
into the river.
if we can get the June pumping done, which was part of the original agreement, then I think we'll be in good shot to give you the summer. Give you you said a couple weeks or till August. I'll do one better and give you till September 1st. That's my opinion. It still has to be voted on between me and Marion, and hopefully that'll work. And as long as we can see you and we show you you're working with the town, I don't see a problem with that. So at this point, I've said my piece. Marion, do you have any comments or
No, you
concerns?
said it all.
Andy, any other
I
comments? Okay. Marion, I will take a motion to let's see, they were looking for, I'm just gonna make sure I get everything right.
Extension.
Extension. So if you would make the motion, and we have to, because it's a dated motion, you have to give the date on the motion.
Oh, okay, we're going to give them an extension up to September 1st after the June pumping. Is that correct?
Yep, that works, that works. So, looking to give an extension, that's the motion. I second the motion of giving the I'm sorry, the Whiting family an extension until September 1st to work on let me make sure I get it, the septic system and the leach field, as long as, this is actually, you just have to, we want the original agreement to stand. And that was letting Andy get on the property if need be. Is that still okay with you? Okay. So I'm sorry, Marion, I cut it off. You have to give me the motion again because I stepped in. So, real quick, just give me that motion again.
After the June
Pump.
pumping,
Okay?
we are extending it till September 1st.
I second that motion. And how would you like to vote?
Yes.
I vote yes also. So it's a 2-0 vote. So if you can just keep in touch with Andy, let him send him a copy of the next pumping.
Yep.
And that way he knows it's done, and I'm sure he's gonna swing by, or Darlene will swing by the property just to take a look and make sure everything's all set.
If you choose to pursue repairing it, keep me up to date on that
Okay.
too. If you make an application to a bank,
Yeah.
get me a copy of the application, and when the bank gives you a answer, get me a copy of the answer. If we see forward progress, I'll bring it before the board again. And obviously, come September, you have the option to bring it before the board again.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you.
Thank you.
very much.
Thanks.
I'm
Do I
Marion.
get, when I come on the property, do I get to pet the big dog?
She's
We
not there
had to
anymore.
give her for adoption
Oh,
Because
yesterday.
we're
And,
I love that big
we're
I
dog.
just need a
afraid,
motion to.
we wanted to make sure she was gonna have a good home, so.
All right, I second the
That's
motion.
a beautiful dog.
How do you vote, Marion?
What was gonna happen?
I vote yes,
We
2-0.
No.
She's not here to write anything.
Yeah.
So we have 30 seconds to get you out of here.
I love that puppy.
Okay, right now we are running very short. Is there anything you need to move forward that you think that's why I
I
can,
think there was some racy correspondence in there, or some significant correspondence in there, and I think we should at least give you the opportunity to comment on that. We had a request for a beaver, and
Yeah.
we denied even bringing it to the board.
I was
I
wondering
wasn't sure
why,
if you were comfortable with that. We also did a cease and desist on a food establishment. I wasn't sure if you were comfortable with
I
that.
was fine with that one, I
Yeah,
read that
I
one.
was too.
I wasn't, what was the reason for the,
It was an incomplete application.
okay, that's
We
fine.
were pending,
That's what that gentleman was here for.
Oh, the beaver?
That was one of the neighbors.
okay.
So
Uh,
that's fine, I mean, if it's incomplete, then it wasn't, yeah, you can't do anything about that.
He's gonna fill one out himself.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, anything else pressing that you wanted to go over?
No, again with correspondences, email to Sean Steele from the fire department. Is the board comfortable with my determination of when we're gonna get involved in hoarding cases?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Did you read the email?
I read it all.
I'm trying to separate private health from public health,
Yep,
so if the board is comfortable with that, that is how we will move forward with policy.
sounds good.
Okay.
Okay, one quick thing that I wanted to add
Sure.
is, and this is actually an announcement for anybody who's watching, the 12 people who may be watching.
You would be amazed how many people come to me and say,
Kidding me.
Ready Med is now open in the old, what building was that before?
Staples.
Staples Building?
Staples,
Pier 1?
yeah, Pier 1 Imports building. It is
Ah.
it starts at, I believe it's 1 or 2 in the afternoon, goes till 10 at night. It is emergency or urgent care medicine, no appointment needed, it's walk-ins. So it's open to the town. You do not have to have Reliant insurance to go there. You don't have to be a member of the Reliant network. They have full doctors, everything. It's amazing. It's a great setup. They think they do everything. They can set broken arms. The only thing they can't do is a heart attack. So, I noticed I looked at you.
And they'll
But-
take, they'll,
They take insurances. They do everything. They're amazing. I'm actually was gonna go down tonight to check it out, but I might have to wait till tomorrow night. But I just want town of Auburn, someone, your kids are sick, you don't want to go sit at the emergency room. If the urgent care is closed down on Millbury Street, I think it's a great asset to the town, and we should take advantage of it.
I'm gonna check it out too.
There,
Okay.
Yeah, I had
A
one
lot
of
of
those.
businesses coming into Auburn.
Yep.
I think the
And that's
Ms.
what
Jacobson is doing a real good job with her community development groups.
I really want us to see the Board of Health partner with them, see what they'll help us with, because they're part of the Reliant organization. So we already have Reliant in town. Now we have a Ready Med, and they like Auburn. So
When we start moving forward with the community public health,
Yep.
we're definitely going to invite
yeah,
Ready Med and Child Health.
I think it'd be.
What's Ready Med? They're part of.
They're part of Reliant.
Reliant.
Yeah.
We're going to invite Reliant and Child Health Associates as community partners.
Sounds
Are we
good.
gonna set meetings for July, or are we gonna discuss that at a later date?
That would be the second week of July.
Um,
What do we usually meet? The first and
we've
third?
always met the
First
second and
and
fourth.
fourth.
Second and fourth.
Second and fourth.
Second week would be
But-
the 8th.
Because we are now pushing our meetings back by an hour, I would recommend we look at either the first or third. I would recommend that we go to once a month. Most of our meetings are just informative meetings. And I think we can pull that together in once a month unless we're attempting to adopt regulations where we have to
Okay.
do a lot of work. I would also recommend that we look to either the first or third to have that meeting. So it doesn't, because when meetings are later, we don't
Okay.
want to conflict
Well,
with the
the-
selectmen on the second and fourth.
The first would be next week.
So third sounds real good.
Third's gonna sound good. That'd be the 15th of the month. So
That sounds good.
any problems with 15th?
After that.
I think the 15th works for me. You'll just have to check with Steve, because we'd like to have a full board. So if the gentleman comes back and they want to redo those plans, we'll have a full board. So, okay, at this point, if we have nothing else, I will take a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
I second the motion. Motion passes. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.